It must be time for a live stream. Hello, everyone. Back on Instagram tonight, which is extremely exciting. Because most of my lives lately have been on Facebook and on YouTube, which is great. Where are we? Here we go. Let me just make sure this is turned down. Great. Calte, Cuts911, Robert Kisler, good to see you all tuning in. Thank you so much. A traditional live stream tonight, but it's also because I know this doesn't reach as many people doing it on Instagram, and that's kind of the point about tonight, is that this is a bit of a secret preview. Now, I wasn't going to do this until tomorrow night, but the stock just arrived in time for May Outturn, so I'm really excited to be able to actually preview this for you and show you what's going on. Time is flying this month in April, even though we're all stuck inside. The whole idea is that we get to sit down, talk some whiskey. I love going live every night with you. I wasn't actually going to go live tonight. I was going to have one night off, but I'm in the mood for it. It's fun. It's good fun. And I'm kind of like, an opportunity has come up for me to talk about some of the releases in May Outturn, but also talk about May Outturn in general. I'll do a more full series of videos next week on May Outturn. I'm really excited about that because we're going to go over May Outturn in much more detail next week, in the week lead up to the Friday, of course. Robert Akers, Steve, Flymish, Joel, SMWS Benelux. You're missing the ABC News for this. Big loss. It's not like they don't run a 24/7 news channel. I'm sorry about that. Mads Schmoll, Whiskey is my jam. Nick Husek. The reason why I have to look over here at my phone is because there's all these bottles in front of me, and the phone battery on this preview screen here is dead. So anyway, Sable, Scotch, Lee Wallace, Whiskey Soros, everyone's tuning in. Like I said, you know what? This is a preview of what I'm going to be opening over the next week, tasting, previewing, talking about, digging deeper on some of these casks in front of me, and talking about the festival pack as well tonight. All right, I need something for this. Wait, what do I need? There it is. A dram. A Society 93, no less. If you ask me for what the second number is on that cask, I can't remember. It's one from a little while back, 93.104, 102, something around there. Anyway. Oh, coastal and lovely. I'll come back to that. Hello, hello, Corinda. Good to see you. The 29 and 33. Some people have already had a sneak at the story that I posted earlier. Thanks, Rob, but I'm going to keep going. So here we go. How broke am I going to be? What are we looking at today, Corinda? Okay, so here's the lineup in front of me. Here's 10 festival bottlings. So let me just, before I even show you what these are yet. Okay, Outturn is on Friday, the 1st of May. It lands at midday like all the other Outturns, and it's the first Friday of the month, which is the 1st of May this year. In the May Outturn, I'd say it's the second biggest Outturn of the year for us. The Christmas Outturn, of course, is the biggest. Okay, so in May Outturn, I'm going to give you a bit of a preview. Ready? Of course, you get Andrew's article, you get my article. You can read a bit about what's going on at the moment. Then we talk about how we're bringing the festival to you. We're bringing the festival home. Now, in Scotland, each year throughout May is the Highland Festival, Highland Whisky Festival, Speyside Whisky Festival, Campbeltown Malts Festival, and Feis Ile or Isla Festival. So they're the 4 big malt festivals held in the regions around Scotland every year. Of course, with COVID-19, coronavirus, those festivals are not going ahead this year. So as a result, we had already bottled up the festival releases, and we were talking back and forth with the UK, like, do we release these really special festival casks, or do we hold on to them, or what are we going to do with them, kind of thing. It's like, well, they're bottled up, and members are stuck at home, not being able to go to our events. We had all these festival events planned out throughout the entirety of May. We had John McShane from the UK, who joined us last night, if you caught that. So we had John McShane flying out, a global ambassador, to host a number of festival tastings around the country. He was scheduled for Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, and I was trying to get him over to Perth as well. It would have been fantastic. Actually, Hobart, I had him for Hobart as well in May. Anyway, there was all these things happening with John that I was really excited by. And of course, all of our lovely state managers and myself and Andrew doing all these things for our members. We can't do those events in May. I'm super bummed about that. Kind of looking forward to the amount of sleep I'm going to get rather than flying around both the UK and Australia for that month. But at the same time, it's a real bummer because it's a chance for us to get around and talk whiskey with members. Joel, I'm going to get to that in a second. You'll see if there's 1 or 2 29s in here. Let's have a look. Okay, so let me just go over Outturn. There's the articles from Andrew and I. There's a lovely lizard on the cover. There's an explanation of what we're doing with these casks, why we're releasing the festival casks when the festivals aren't happening. We think it's important to let our members have access, full access as members of the society to these amazing festival casks here. Okay, so there's 10, no less than 10 festival casks. I'm just still looking over here a little bit just so I can get the details right because I've got the Outturn over here on the screen. But we've got 10 festival casks coming as well as other casks in Outturn. So I want to stress that. There's a great article written by Alex Moores called Drink the Whiskey, Not the Kool-Aid. And by the way, just so you know, the idea behind this Outturn is it's a bigger Outturn because of the festival releases, but there's heaps of reading in it, like heaps. There's content in there, like heaps, because it's a chance for you, if you're stuck at home, to read some great stuff. There's some whiskey recipes in there. There's a whiskey chocolate cake, whiskey marmalade, whiskey tiramisus. There's some great reading in there. Like seriously, stuff I'd love your feedback on. And the best way to get feedback to us is through our Facebook group, of course. Write about it. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you agree with it. If you disagree with it, you say great point, and tag the author, please. It's not always me. Don't worry. Is a razor not an essential trip out of the house? Yes, thank you, Johnny. I'm in desperate need of a shave. I'm having what's called the COVID beard, as I've heard it coined a few times. It's not really a beard yet. It's sort of halfway, but it's I do need to have a shave, or I just grow it out a bit. I don't really mind either way. I've had a beard before. I could probably pull it off again. I don't know. Definitely 229s in the mix says cuts. We'll have to have a look in a second. I'm getting there. I'm just teasing you at the moment. Basic chocolates, Morky Mood, Chapman Manathan joined. Go with the stash. Ooh, yeah, I could just keep the stash. It looks a bit sort of, anyway. Won't go there. Okay, so in Outturn, like I said, there's a great article by Alex Moores. We've put heaps of stuff in here to keep you entertained throughout May. It's a kind of Outturn. It's 40 pages long. It's a 40-page Outturn. You can put it on your bedside table, put it on your coffee table, have something to read. It's really good that way. Okay, here's the first exciting thing. There's 2 malts of the month. So as you know, sometimes we do 2 malts of the month. It's 2 casks that we can discount and have a reasonable quantity of each for members to get access to. One's unpeated and one's peated. I think I'm going to buy one of the unpeated ones for myself because I love that code. I also love the other one as well, so it's a bit of a hard one. It's also the first Outturn you're going to see some of the new livery bottlings coming through, the new labelling, which is really exciting for us, but I promise you the quality inside the bottle is just as good. There's a great article called What's Your Flavour Animal that we're releasing, which is from a TV presenter in the UK called Nick Baker. Have a read of that. It's about some of the animals and flavour pairings of animals and casks. I think it's interesting. Then there's some single cask recipes. I'll come back to that another night. And then there's all the other casks that are non-festival releases that are cracking good whiskies, which I'll talk about another night as well. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 non-festival casks in there. So if you don't want a festival release, well, I don't know why you wouldn't, but there's also other casks in there. Okay. Evening says, Gaucho, good to see Whiskey and Drinkies. Calte 99. It's a 10 for malt of the month. You love your 10s. No, it's not a 10. It's not a 10. But it is a peated whiskey, and it is an unpeated whiskey for malts of the month, and I'll talk about them as we get further into the week, next week. Okay, here we go. Well, you'll see what they are tomorrow. So Outturn's getting released tomorrow for you to read. It's a week before Outturn comes out, and then we'll send it out. Mailed copies, again, are seeing delays thanks to our friends over at Australia Post who have announced again that they're struggling under the pressure of all the deliveries. So even delivering normal mail is slowed up at the moment. Just shut up and take my money. Nice fluff. Yeah, thanks, Gaucho. That's another comment about my facial hair. Woo, Outturn, yes. So shut up and take my money, Sable Scotch says. I completely understand because I've got 10. I think there's 18 bottlings in Outturn or 20 bottlings. And there's 10 of them are festival releases. Highland Festival, Speyside Festival, Campbeltown Festival, and Isla Festival. Now, let's start at the top. Let's start with Highland Festival. First thing I've got to do is find it. Here's the first preview. Highly entertaining, a 12-year-old whiskey called Highly Entertaining. It is a 52. It's a 12-year-old in the oily and coastal profile with a special one-off artwork for it. So, there you go, 52.32 in celebration of the Highland Whiskey Festival. So that's the first one I want to show tonight because I'm going to go from Highland, Speyside, Campbeltown, Isla. It's a 12-year-old single cask from a distillery in Wick, you might know. Starts with Old, and that's a single cask, I think first fill bourbon barrel. I'd have to double check, actually I'll double check that. But it's a single cask first fill bourbon barrel from this distillery. Let me grab that, I don't want to get it wrong. Yes, first fill bourbon hogshead, not barrel, hoggy. And it's got pictures of a prawn and some fish and some boats, which should give you an indication of which distillery it's from, given what it is. So it's called Highly Entertaining, and that's the first one in the festival releases. Really excited that we've got a few of those to go around. I think we've got 30 of them. That's good. That's a good number. Okay. The next release, I'm going to grab comments as we go as well. Do festival waters rate better than the not ones? Rate better. I mean, the reason why they're bottled as festival releases is because they're interesting. They score really well on tasting panel. So we have a really high standard of tasting panel to begin with, but festival releases are casks that Ewan and the team pick out that they deem to be quite extraordinary examples of that spirit, which I think is really a really good way to look at it. They're still the usual high quality of the standard, as you know very well, Lockie. So, but they are nice artworks, and they're both collectibles, but they're also kind of great drinkers. I promise you. I'm going to open a bunch of these over the next week. We're not opening any tonight. Tonight's just a preview. Tonight's just a bit of a chat. I've already got a dram, and it's already something which I'm about to talk about next. So that's our Highland Festival bottling. I think that's the only Highland Festival bottling. So I'm guessing that one will go pretty quickly. No, that's not true. Yes, it is true, sorry. Okay, let's move to Speyside Festival. Now, there's 2 Speyside Festival casks here I want to show you. Maybe you need to, but with beard oil. Yeah, thanks, yeah. No, okay, so finish. That's not a finish. That's a first fill bourbon hogshead. I'll tell you if it's a finish each time, Rowan. 52.28 milk and cowfish is a beauty. Yeah, it's a crazy whiskey, that cowfish 52, wasn't it? It got so much like what's the word for it? Oh, I don't know. Look, it was. I just remember being really, really coastal and really sort of sharp and coastal, but incredible. Like the ultimate seafood paired dram. That one. Was that? No, sorry, Joel. That was a 52. It was a Highland Whiskey Festival 52.32. So you'll see all this tomorrow in your inbox. I promise. That's the first one out of the way there. Now I'm going to move to Speyside. These Speyside releases are super exciting. So for the 2 that I'm going to show you right now, the 2 bottlings, are both in the deep, rich and dried fruits profile. So the first one is 35.254, an 11-year-old single cask from Distillery 35. Let's hold that up so you can all see it. There we go. Now, Sable Scotch has asked a question. Are any tasting packs of these going to be offered? Yes. Actually, that wasn't really in focus. Let me try that again. I'm still trying to focus on my face. Instagram trying to be a bit too clever for its own good. So I'm going to see if I can focus that up for you there. I'm doing this after seeing the preview, of course. There we go. That was much better. So, Niraj, I don't know, mate. I don't know if you've got access to these in India. I'd have to check if there's an SMWS India branch. I don't think there is. If there is, it's very small. But Niraj, you should check it out. I'll talk about the balloting as well as I get closer in, Robert. Okay, so Sable Scotch's question, are any tasting packs of these going to be offered? Yes, there's a full tasting pack. Well, not all of them, sorry, but it's a 5-dram tasting pack, and we've selected one from each of the festivals. Well, 2 of one festival and 3 of the others. So it's 5 of these, and I'll show you what they are at the end. And it's a 5-dram tasting pack that you can get in Outturn next Friday. So even if you don't want the full bottles, you can get a full tasting pack, and the bottles if you want. Save your bottle for a later occasion. Get the sample instead. So we're looking forward to that. So 35.254. It's an 11-year-old deep, rich and dried fruits from a distillery I have quite an affinity with. Now this one has had a finish. So this was 8 years, I think. Yeah, 8 years, I think. Yeah, in This was 9 years in an ex-Oloroso butt, and then it was transferred for a year into a New Oak heavily charred puncheon. I'll talk more details about that next week, but tonight's just a preview. So there's one of the Speyside offerings. Here is one of the other Speyside offerings. This is really exciting. Virtual tasting of the pack is on the 29th. Let me check the date. Man, testing me tonight. 29th of May. Friday night, 29th of May, is a live tasting of the sample pack. It's all in the Outturn. I'm looking forward to that, hosting that as well. So that's going to be fantastic. Okay, here we are. Here's the next one. The other, it is a weird treatment, yeah. So it's 9 years ex-Oloroso, so it was a refill Oloroso, then went 1 year into New Oak heavy charred puncheon for that 35 there that I just held up. Lovely. It's, you know what? It's one of the ones I'm probably going to try and snare for myself after members have had a stab. That's a 35.254 Pure Decadence. Very exciting. Okay. Before I show you the code on this one, or we may have just given it away, but first of all, look at the color on this one. It's basically pitch black. I'm super excited by this one as well. This is, of course, cask 7.233, so the lovely sevens. It's a sherried 7 called A Syrupy Sweet Tale of Romance. Full maturation, 13 years in a first fill sherry butt right there. I'm really excited by that one. So that's also deep, rich, and dried fruits, and it's a single cask, 62.3%. Yeah, they're both up there, aren't they? 63.9 on that one and 62.3 on this one. It's also the new livery, which looks really nice. We've gone back to that lovely cotton paper stock on the labels, which feels fantastic as well. It's got a lovely feel to it. This is a full maturation sherried Speyside whiskey. That one is pitch black in the bottle, and I'm super looking forward to it. So there's the first 3 out of 10. Any questions coming through at the moment? That's a good guess, Neeraj. I couldn't possibly say, but that's a good guess. As a very new member to SMWS and this being my first really big and special outturn, I've got to say I'm very excited and I'm worried about my bank balance. Joel, look, this is the festival month is always a big month each year. The 2 big months at the society are definitely May and November. They're sort of we focus on the festival month around May. Of course, every outturn's got goodies in it, as you know. We do 10 to 15 bottlings in every outturn. This is a slightly bigger offering, and of course, some amazing casks coming through, which is so exciting. Okay, so we've done the 1 Highland one, the 52. We've had a look at the 35 and the 7 for Speyside Festival, and they're all in May outturn. This isn't like, oh, this is available this month and this next month kind of thing. No, they're all in the outturn. I'm going to move to Campbeltown Festival. Now, there's one bottling for Campbeltown Festival, and I'm pretty excited by it, actually. 93, of course, .128. If it was a 27, I wouldn't have been able to contain myself for the last few weeks. But it's a 93, and I love my 93s. For those of you who know, the oily and coastal 93s and the ones with a bit of age on them make for some fantastic drinking. So here at 54.9%, 93.128, a 17-year-old single cask from Campbeltown to celebrate Campbeltown Malts Festival. Smoke and Smugglers, that one's called. Again, one that I might have to nab for myself. And I'm really looking forward to sharing that with members. And that is one in the pack, actually. I'll reveal that now for you. That is one of the ones in the pack. Full maturation in a refill bourbon hoggy. So team refill, 17 years old, oily and coastal, bam, refill hoggy. Again, good allocation, but 24 of these to go around on next Friday. So I'm really excited. I'm holding one of them right now. But obviously we're drawing some down for the packs. So it might be like 21 to go around or something, or 20. But still, a fair amount of a lovely 93. And I think if you overlook these Campbeltown whiskies in general, I think you're missing out big time. People are often looking for the big smoke bombs and the big sherried whiskies like that 7 before it and things like that. But have a look at something like that. Absolute banger. I'm looking forward to sharing that around as well. Oos. Morky's just losing his mind here and just typing random letters at this point. Oof. Robert is sold, I reckon. Hashtag team refill. Bam. Okay, that's the Campbeltown Festival. So you can probably tell right now that the last 6 bottlings in front of me are all Isla Festival exclusives. They were going to be launched entirely in Isla and in May during this festival. We work closely with the distilleries on these, as well as obviously our own casking team, and they are fantastic releases of huge variation. I mean, massive variation here. So I'm going to start with there's 2 from one distillery here, there's 2 from another distillery here, and there's 2 other distilleries here, if that makes sense. I'm going to start with the little guy. Again, very, very reddish in colour, almost. Ooh, I think I nudged my camera there. Get that back in frame. Quite a dark colour on this one. I'm just checking if I've got my camera back in frame. I did. Excellent. Campbeltown rocks. It bloody does good. And 17 is a good age for Campbeltown whiskey. Absolutely. 6 Islas in 1 outturn. Not just that. There's other whiskies not in the festival list in outturn, which is exciting. This one's quite dark in colour as well. This one's it's quite reddish in hue. This is, of course, a 10.190 Make Moyne a Devil, a 6-year-old sherried whiskey bunner. A 10.190, I probably shouldn't say bunner, but you know what I mean. It's a 10.190. a 6-year-old Moyne cask as well. So a heavily peated whiskey from Distillery 10 there. Make sure that label's coming through nice on the camera for you. That's really exciting. Yeah, so the bright orange, Robert, is kind of that orangey colour there you can see is the deep, rich and dried fruits colour, so that we've got the darker red now for the old and dignified. So yeah, this is, I'll show that once more. 10.190, a big sherry butt, 616 bottles worldwide, 6 years, heavily peated for the Isla Festival. So a young, brash, peated, sherried bunner. I mean, I can't get more excited about something like that. That is amazing. That's really exciting. I love my young Isla whiskies, and I'm really looking forward to what the sherry influence did in a short time on this, and that's really exciting. So a Moyne cask as well. I'll talk more about that next week, but really it indicates their heavily peated runs at that distillery. And it's also a banging price. It's a young whiskey. It's going to be cheap, but I can't divulge pricing just yet. That'll come tomorrow. But it's going to be a really affordable, accessible whiskey, especially in a heavily peated sherry profile. If you like those kind of brash whiskies, and I know I do. You're going to be in the mood for it, but if I'm in the mood for it, I am. I will show now. Pardon me. Also a sherry whiskey, a little bit darker again, and also from the same distillery, 10.188, new acquaintance again, Isla Festival in the deep, rich and dried fruits. So this is an unpeated whiskey, aged 14 years, sorry, just have to check that, aged 14 years, and that's a 10.188, really looking forward to that one as well, called New Acquaintance. Fairly low outturn for a sherry butt because it's had 14 years to lose a bit of evaporation and whatnot. I'm more partial personally to the unpeated 10s than I am the peated ones, but I'm really looking forward to trying both and maybe even side by side. 10s and seafood, yeah, 10 mine, done, yes, exactly. Oh, I keep bumping the camera, sorry, with my foot. Anyway, get too excited. Heavily peated and $6 going to kick, yes please, absolutely. Big fan of the 10s, big fan of the 10s. The Pot Still joined, good to see you, Pot Still, good to see you, Michael Perolini. Mate, I was at your old work just yesterday, dropped in to see the lads over at Archie Rose, pick up some stock. Hope all is well, mate. I know it's been a while since you've been there, but still, my best memories are, of course, at AR and now our party days over there. Okay, so that's the two 10s. I'll hold them up side by side so you can see them. They're the two 10s that are in Outturn, which we're announcing formally tomorrow. I hope that's coming out on camera. I get a delayed view of it, which is why I prefer to do the Facebook Live sometimes, I'll be honest. I need to bump that across a bit. There we go. Fantastic. Okay, so where are we up to now? There's 4 left in front of me. Let's go through the... let's start with this one. No, I'm going to start with this one. 53,319. You can't really do a festival release and not have a 53. Big old Mr. Consistent. I'm going to bring up the stats for this, just so I've got it right. I don't want to get anything wrong here. In the peated flavour profile, big allocation for Australia, and for good reason, because it's a ripper cask. 42 bottles to go around, 58.2%, a 13-year-old refill hoggy that Ewan thought was absolutely spellbinding. He says it's a hearty fusion of cough syrups and peated Armagnac. Peated Armagnac style. It's of course not an Armagnac, but it is a peated Armagnac style. And it's, if that makes sense, it's got that lovely sweetness that a refill Kalila does have. Mighty stuff, he says. It's just unbelievable. So a real favourite of the team over in the UK, and a real favourite of ours as well. So we're really looking forward to that. Obviously, that's one of 6 Isla releases, but there's a lot of that to go around, and I think it's going to be a lovely, lovely whiskey. I've not actually tried any of these yet. I should make full disclosure. I'm only speculating because I've read the full tasting notes. I've spoken with the team. I'm really looking forward to what we can do here, and I'll tell you about the packs and how they're being sold at the end. I'll tell you about the packs, Matt Music. Don't worry, I'll talk about the packs at the end. I'm fearing for my bank account now, but so keen for these. Is there a reduced price for a 10-pack? If you can get a 10-pack, I'll commend you on that one. Can you please make sure you get an allocation of 53.333, please? Morky, when that one's bottled, I hope we will. I'm pretty sure we will. Team refill, yes. A 53, yes. And a 53 with some moderate age on it. So we get a lot of 53s lately, which are 9, 10, 11. But to get a 13-year-old single cask that is a team refill, of course, is absolutely fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to that one as well. Pop that over there. We're heading into the pointy end of the territory now, so I'm going to show you the last three. Here we go. And of course, these last two are premium livery, but I'll talk about this one third last. 29.270, of course, the famous 29s. Oh, there we go. Hold that up so you can see it. Great. I had some great comments coming through from both the panel and from members. Excited that there's a peated young 29 in the barrel. Like we've had a string of 29s. We've had some, and a lot of them are in that sort of like 18 to 20-year-old age bracket. And I think they're fantastic. They've got that lovely old stately nature of old Lafroig, I should just say it. But old 29s have that lovely stately nature of the spirit. And I think once you head into that territory of the younger casks that come through, they are brash, they're boorish, they're fun. Then they've got like this sense of occasion because the spirit is still quite developing. However, the tasting note on this one starts by saying a surprisingly mature and confected nose full of pink peppercorn warmth and foamed shrimps, crab sticks, freshly chopped herbs, and dazzling medicinal sharpness. So, yes, it's a second fill bourbon barrel, not a refill. It's a second fill, so we're approaching refill. But it's picked up a lot of maturity after 8 years, which was why it was selected as one of the festival bottlings. Yes, young society 29s are always ludicrous. Morky Moore, I couldn't agree more. And the fact that it's a festival release makes it even more exciting in the fact that it's a really special release that the panel thought was unbelievable at this age statement. The last 29 from Christmas Outturn Big Oof was a young dram, yes, but we don't see too many young 29s. They don't give them up very often at the distillery, and so we're very lucky to get these, and I love the old ones. The old ones and young ones are just totally different. They're totally different, and they both offer a totally different perspective on both. So I'll hold it up once more so everyone can see it. Collateral Dramage, a very cool name on that one. I'm quite fond of the name on that one. There's an 8-year-old distilled 2011. Okay, we're heading into the pointy end of the releases here. The premium livery ones. Okay. Let me bring up the details on this so I don't get anything wrong. Okay. The first thing I want to make mention to everyone about this is that both of these releases, both of these premium livery, the black livery festival releases, they're both obviously premium livery, so they're a little bit dearer because of what they are, and B, they are both ballot. So I want to stress that now as well, but I'll talk about ballot and how it's being sold and everything in a moment. The first one I'll show you, of course, is the other 29. 29.268, a 22-year-old Essence of Gelfing. I hope that's coming through on the screen just lovely now. Look at that, a 22-year-old PX Pedro Jimenez Hogshead of a 22-year-old from Distillery 29. Massive, just massive stuff. A big, old 29. Can't really ask for much more, could you? I mean, you could, but you wouldn't get it. Look at that. So an old and dignified 29 in the premium livery right there for Isla Festival 2020. I'm looking forward to members being able to grab access to that one. We have not very many of these. Very few indeed, in fact. I think it's 18 bottles for the country. Doesn't mean you don't have a chance. It just means that we're giving everyone an equal opportunity to grab one. It is ballot only. I think that makes it fairest for people who want these rare releases rather than a scramble on the website at midday. So you don't have to be on the website at midday to get this. If this is the only one you're after from Outturn, you have an equal footing as every other member who enters the ballot. And the details for how to enter the ballot are in Outturn, of course. But yeah, exactly 50% on the head. Thanks for noticing that. Yeah, 50% ABV on the head for the total allocation, for the ABV, finished ABV. It does happen. We've had whiskies bang on 40, we've had bang on 60. But bang on 50 you don't see too often, I guess. But yeah, 22 years, second fill PX, Pedro Jimenez Hogshead. So that lovely balance of spirit and sherry on an old 29 from Isla. Beautiful stuff. A real sort of piece of history, that one, actually. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to go through all of these in more detail in the next week because we're coming up to May Outturn, which is the first, which is a week from tomorrow. But in the meantime, tonight's just a quick preview. And by quick, I mean 30 minutes, but still quick enough. I'm not drinking any of them tonight. In fact, I've got a lovely old 93 in the glass at the moment. Come back to that. Okay, I'm talking too much. Here's the last, and this is the last one that is available as part of the festival releases, not the standard releases in next month's Outturn. And here it is, of course. A 33-139. You would not believe, as we're going to call it. So, a peated Oloroso Isla whiskey from Distillery 33. I hope that's coming up on the camera okay there. There we go. 33.139. Of course, the festival release and the last of the 10 bottlings I want to show you tonight. So a 33 is coming back, and it's called You Would Not Believe, and is one of the two. There are two out of the 10 festival releases that are ballot only, and that is, of course, the 29 and the 33. We want to make sure that it's fair for everyone to get access to this rather than a scramble for the checkout, and then you're disappointed. So, it's very rare for us to get 33s, as you know. They come through very infrequently. We had one about 2 months ago called Feis Ram. I've tasted it now thanks to my friend Lachlan, and I thought that was an absolutely remarkable whiskey. I mean, truly one of the best 33s I've ever had. Core range, independent, whatever. An unbelievably tasty whiskey. I've not tasted this one yet, but if it's been selected for a festival release, I can be guaranteed it's going to be as tasty, if not better. Not better, just different. We don't like to think better or worse. It's just different. A very different experience again. So, the pricing will be available tomorrow in tomorrow's Outturn, but for all the bottlings. But here's some stats for you. First of all, I want to make this really clear for all members who are watching tonight and everyone who's interested in joining the society or wherever you are up to in your journey. These are 10 special festival releases that are coming up in May Outturn. So if you miss out on some, there's some other great bottlings that are also panel approved, fantastic society single casks, but they are all in one Outturn. Second thing I'll let you all know right now, before tomorrow. The second thing I'll let you know about tomorrow. About Outturn. The festival releases have no extra premium on them for being festival releases. We want to make this as fair for members as possible. They are priced accordingly to what they are supplied from a cask level. So as in like, they are not like, well, it's a festival release, so it's $100 more than a normal one. No. We exist at the service of our members, and we want to make sure that they are priced so that they're accessible for all, not just for those with big pockets. So is that the phrase, or big wallets? Whatever. It's like, we want to make sure that they are available and accessible to all. So they are, I think, very fairly priced on most of them, on all of them. There's only one that I can't afford, so I say most. Okay, and then there's of course the third thing I want to let you know is about how they're being sold, and then I'll talk about the packs. So how they're being sold, they are all going online for midday on the 1st of May. However, these two are ballot only, and the rest are limit 1 bottle per member. So yes, you can buy all 8 in one hit if you wanted, if you manage to do that. However, they are all limit 1 bottle per member. So you can grab one of each. You can grab which ones you want, but you can't get, if you really want the 52.32 as the Highland Festival bottling, you can have one of them, not 2, sorry. Limit 1 per member, it makes it fair for everyone. There's a good number of each to go around. There's generally between 24 and 42 bottles of each, which is pretty good. We're pretty happy with that allocation, and I thank Andrew for his work there. But it is limit 1 per member. I think that's really fair as well. Sally says, I feel like my heart can't sustain the excitement anymore, and I want to move fast forward to next Friday already. Sally, me too, but at the same time, I'm really looking forward to the week ahead of live streams and content and articles online where I get to talk about some of these releases more in depth, which is really exciting, so we can learn so much about these festival releases and some of the histories behind some of these casks and some of these distilleries. So that's all right. I'm happy with a week still to go. There's still a lot to do, of course. And we're working, just on a side note of that, by the way, we are working very hard at the moment to ensure that our website, I'm not going to promise anything, but shouldn't crash. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes with our host, with our platform, with all that kind of stuff that is not front-end facing, but is back-end, of course, and is I'm really excited by that. It's not there yet, but we're working on it. And the last point I'll make about the packs, however, in the pack, which is already, by the way, was published as an article on our website the other day, in case you missed it. But in the pack is let me bring it up. Okay, in the pack includes Move these out of the way. There's a 5 dram pack. It's $99, just like the previous gathering pack, except the samples in this one are a little bit bigger. So in the 5 dram pack is 35254 Pure Decadence. 7.233. They're both Speyside offerings are in there. That's really exciting. Then the Highland Festival 52.32 is in the pack, the $99 pack there. I'm going to move them across. You can still see them in frame, I hope. The 4th whiskey in the pack is 93.128. The Campbeltown Malts Festival there, 93.128. And then the 33.139. So those 5 whiskies you're looking at right now in frame are the 5 whiskies in the exclusive online tasting pack, which will have a live tasting on Friday the 29th of May at 7 p.m. with those 5 whiskies. You get it's a full 30 ml dram of each in each pack. The gathering packs are 25s. These are 30 mils. They're in little glass bottles. It might not look as pretty as your gathering pack, I'm sorry, but we're making them locally, and they're going to be lovely packs that you can share around. There's good 2 drams in each bottle if you do 15s. So do it with a friend, do it at home, do it wherever you are, and we'll do that as a live tasting, hosted here again, and it'll be to Facebook and YouTube and all that. But just throw it in with your order if you like. It's $99. It'll be good fun. So there's the. No, we're not packing with Dram Team for that one because we're looking after that one locally, Cal, and you'll see some of the production photos of that at the warehouse. Holy shitballs, I'm going to be broke, says Hayden. Okay. Favorite pastime of Outturn Day is the website crash. Lockie, please don't say that. We're working so hard on making sure it doesn't crash in May because we're getting a new host and all this stuff going on, but we're trying our hardest to make sure that doesn't happen, of course. So those 5 of the 10 are in the pack. However, you might spot some things coming up shortly, which we're in production at the moment, might come in for mid-May, I'm not sure, which might be things like we've got some special, there'll be a very short supply of them, but some very high-end exclusive packs as well. Like we might just do a full Isla pack for those who just want to do an Isla pack one. We're still working on a few concepts there, but we have to work with that warehouse and the bottling team and everything else we're doing there. But in the meantime, that's a huge amount to take in one night, and I really appreciate everyone tuning in. Can you get a personal message on each bottle for the tasting? Cal, I can't promise anything, but I'll throw a message into the box that it comes in for you. Outturn is playing good fun. It damn well is, you know what? All these festival releases, pardon me, I got hiccups. All these festival releases coming through. There's not a dud there, obviously. They're all society single casks, all approved by panel. And am I missing one? Oh, there it is. Yep. So, and we're really excited by everything that's coming up in Outturn. I really appreciate you tuning in tonight, being a part of this this discussion, having a look at the festival releases coming through. I've told you everything I can to think about the website. I'm not going to tell you what the other releases are yet. That's tomorrow. There's some bloody great other releases outside the festival, and there's some bangers in there, and I mean proper sleepers as well. So, which is I love. I love I love that. And codes we don't see too often, which is exciting, and a new code as well. I think yes. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my 93. You enjoy the rest of your night. I really appreciate you tuning in tonight. I'm exhausted. Don't worry. Exactly. I'm like I had a big dinner. And I really appreciate it, Sable. Good to see you. Perilina, good to see you. Cuts. Everyone, thank you so much. The notes on the nose and the palate of my dram before I go. Well, a quick one for you is train smoke. But I'm just nosing it for now. I'm going to have a drink of that in a moment. Thanks, everyone.